This is a recording of this year's Virtual Residency Fair. We'd like to take the time to thank the programs that volunteered their time to present to this year's applicants. This year's PM&R Scholars Virtual Residency Fair is supported by PM&R Recap and Ultrasound Guidance. PM&R Recap is the leading resource for your physiatry board preparation, clinical preparation, audition rotations, and beyond. PM&R Recap offers 35 hours of review videos, hundreds of review questions, and oral board cases to help you become the best physiatrist that you can be. Head to pmnrrecap.com to learn more. Ultrasound Guidance is the innovative new online ultrasound learning platform that gives you instant access to expert instruction. With rapid scans and complete scans of every joint and peripheral nerve, Ultrasound Guidance is the perfect way to jumpstart your MSK ultrasound learning. Visit ultrasoundguidance.com to learn more.
How's it going, everyone? Good to be here. It's because I still have Zoom pulled up from something else earlier, but it really didn't want to let me do that. Here we go. Okay.
Aaron, do you want me to share my video so you can see my pretty face?
But of course. But of course, my wonderful co-chief, please. All right, how are we looking, everyone? I think we're still, hold on, not in presenter mode. Here you go. Okay, and Laura, I can still see you. Okay. Fabulous. Okay. Dr. Pulari, do you mind if I go ahead and get started?
By all means, please.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Well, awesome. Well, everyone, good evening. I'm so happy that you guys invited us here, you know, the PM&R Scholars. Thank you guys for everything that you do. So yeah, I'm just here to tell you a little bit more about my awesome program, Baylor College of Medicine here in Houston, Texas. So again, I'm Aaron Chaney. I'm one of the current chief residents here at Baylor College of Medicine. And on screen you can see Laura Lockman is my co-chief this year as well. So we're here to represent, tell you a little bit about the program. If any questions come up, feel free to ask either in the chat. We'll be keeping an eye on that as well. Baylor College of Medicine here in Houston, we are a relatively large physical medicine rehabilitation program. You can see eight residents per class, and we actually are fortunate enough to share didactic learning time and also some rotation time with our colleagues over at UT Health, who also are here in the medical center in Houston. So honestly, it feels like a full residency class or a full residency group of 36, which is great. And so it's lots of people to bounce ideas off of and lots of camaraderie that, you know, we get on a regular basis. So we just had didactics with them this morning, and so still feeling good from that. So why come down to Houston? Why see what we got? So just starting off, you know, we have one of the highest average starting salaries after you adjust for cost of living. It's very reasonable to as far as cost of living here in Houston. Like for instance, housing cost is about 18% lower than the national average. And I think overall cost of living is like 7 to 8% lower than national average. There's no state or local income tax, which is pretty awesome. And the weather is phenomenal. It's a little hot right now, but it's worth it when I walk my dog in December in shorts. It's my favorite thing, and it's the reason that I'm here. I spent a little bit of time in New York, and I couldn't take the cold anymore, so I came here. There is indeed no snow. We had one weird ice storm a couple of years ago, but we haven't really had it since. And it's just an incredibly diverse city, one of the most diverse cities in the U.S. You know, nearly 1 in 4 foreign-born people who live here currently, and you know, hundreds of institutions devoted to art, science, and history. We've got phenomenal museums. Houston Ballet is incredible, so lots of great shows, and really great cuisine. I think we have been ranked by U.S. News and World Report as one of the top foodie cities in the country, which many of our residents can attest to as well. And what about where we work? So Texas Medical Center is vast and very impressive. It is the largest medical complex in the world, including over 10 million patient visits a year. And this includes multiple hospitals, including Texas Children's, the world's largest children's hospital, as well as MD Anderson, which is the world's largest cancer hospital. And this doesn't even include the new addition of what they're calling like TMC3, or the third phase of the medical center, which is a 5 million square foot expansion. Basically, all the buildings here in this picture, like, they're new and they're pretty. Obviously, this is a mock-up. This is not done yet. It's currently in development. Potentially, I was reading 2024, mid to end of 2024. So, but we'll see. But it's all really pretty, and some of our stuff is actually located here in this territory as well. So within all of that vastness, where do we work? Kind of everywhere. Not everywhere, but a lot of places. And that's one of the best parts of the program, is the amount of things that we get to see, and the different types of patients that we see in the different places. So we go to Tier Memorial Hermann. We go to Baylor McNair campus, one of our home bases, Baylor St. Luke's Medical Center, the Michael E. DeBakey VA Medical Center, Ben Taub General Hospital, which is part of the Harris Health System, Texas Children's Hospital, again, one of the world's largest children's hospitals, Gulfgate and Smith Clinic, which are two outpatient facilities associated with Harris Health in the county system as well. So we'll go a little bit in detail about all of these places. So Tier Memorial Hermann, so this is perennially one of the top rehabilitation hospitals. I believe it's number 2 this year, just behind Shirley Ryan. They are a model system for traumatic brain injury, meaning we get specific funding for being a leader in traumatic brain injury research. We have inpatient and outpatient management of extremely complex patients in TBI, stroke, spinal cord injury, polytrauma, amputation, spasticity. We also do outpatient management of, we have a very heavy, sorry, I'm getting covered up by one of the things here, but we have lots of abilities to do spasticity management, including phenol neurolysis, botulinum toxin injections, and this is one of the few sites that we do manage intrathecal backup pumps as well. So Baylor St. Luke's is another one. So we don't rotate here until our last year. So it's a large consult service. It's a large acute care facility, 942 beds, again, where we run a consult service where, if we think the patient needs inpatient rehab, we can refer them over to the McNair inpatient facility, which we'll talk about. But great hospital, lots of experiencing post-op orthopedic surgery, stroke, and then some pretty complex medical patients. This is where we see a lot of ours, like general medical rehab, like cardiovascular surgeries, LVADs, organ transplants, amputations, and sort of just general other neurologic disorders. There is a picture here of residents getting ice cream from McDonald's. Yes, there is a McDonald's on the first floor of St. Luke's. I have been told this. I do not have the data to back it up, but I will repeat it ad nauseum. I was told that it is one of the highest grossing McDonald's in at least the United States. So again, I'm just going to keep repeating it. I don't know if it's true, but I like to believe it. We do go there on a regular basis, either at St. Luke's or it's also attached to the Texas Children's system. So if you're ever at Texas Children's, we will definitely go there. The Baylor McNair campus. This is one of the beautiful new campuses we have. Again, sort of attached to that brand new TMC3 system. And it's right now, it's kind of serves as our home base. It's where our leadership offices are, including our program director and associate program directors. So we have both inpatient and outpatient experiences here. There is an inpatient rehab unit, about 30 beds. These are typically admitted over from the Baylor St. Luke's Center, or Baylor St. Luke's Medical Center. And then the outpatient experiences is where we get a lot of our sports medicine, pain medicine, care and amputation, MSK, general neuromuscular disorders, neuro rehab, and EMG. So this is a fun picture of one of some of our residents doing. This is actually one of like the after hours ultrasound didactic sort of like interest groups or clubs. So we'll grab one of the sports attendings who's stationed at McNair, turn on one of the ultrasound machines and just do some sort of some in-person learning, weekly. This was started by one of our my co-residents in my year. So we definitely spend a lot of time at the Michael E. DeBakey VA Medical Center. We have inpatient and outpatient rotations, a fantastic spinal cord injury unit where we learn a ton about spinal cord injury, as well as a general rehab unit where we see postoperative patients and sort of your general rehab things. Outpatient, we do MSK, EMG, dedicated EMG rotations, and then a new rotation that we're developing is the selective rotation, where we're kind of trying to do procedures that you wouldn't necessarily see elsewhere. So we're, doing lots of joint injections and ultrasound guided injections, but also just seeing how other services do it. So even looking into like anesthesia and seeing what they're doing. And so we see lots of spinal cord, orthopedic surgeries, brain injury. We also have lots of close interactions while on the spinal cord unit in particular with wound care, plastic surgery, urology, infectious disease, medicine. We have weekly, if not bi-weekly meetings with some of these services, and you're learning a whole lot while you're here. It's fantastic. Texas Children's, so one of my definite top places. I'm interested in peds, so this is my jam. But it's a large tertiary pediatric hospital, about 973 beds, but honestly always expanding. That we are currently the #2 pediatric hospital in the country, behind, I forgot, Boston. I don't remember, but for us, for what we do multiple rotations there. We have a pediatric inpatient rehab unit where we and then as well as a busy consult service that we get to participate in. There are outpatient rotations in sports, pediatric and general pediatric clinic, and some exposure to EMG in pediatrics as well. So everyone gets. So yeah, you'll see pediatric sports injuries, CP, brain injuries, amputation, congenital limb abnormalities, spinal cord injury, and spina bifida, and lots of evaluations for children who need bracing, mobility, spasticity, dystonia management. This is another big one where we see lots and lots of baclofen pumps, and you'll do lots of Botox. Ben Tao. So this is, so we run a consult service. This is a large 650 bed tertiary care hospital, level 1 trauma center. So that's a lot of the really interesting stuff that we see as PM&R residents is, getting exposure to polytrauma, burns, traumatic brain injury, stroke, spinal cord, and amputations. So this is one of the county hospitals, and so we're also dealing with interesting, extremely interesting patients and really medically complex and patients. And then the outpatient centers attached to or associated with Harris Health are Gulfgate and Smith Clinic. So these are also phenomenal rotations where we're dealing with a little bit of everything, but we see stroke, spinal cord injury, TBI, polytrauma, general MSK, pain management, amputation. It's also where we're getting a lot of procedures. So at Smith Clinic is our EMG clinic, where you will get more than enough EMGs, and we have some of the most incredible faculty teaching EMGs that you could possibly ask for. Literally wrote the book for the most part. And at Gulfgate, we're doing lots of procedural things, joint injections, MSK ultrasound, trigger point injections, and plenty of Botox or botulinum toxin chemodenervation here as well. Our fellowship match rates, do no count of time, right? Sweet. Fellowship match rates have been great. We've had lots of people go into pain medicine all around the country. People go into sports medicine, again, all around the country, brain injury medicine, sports, peds, and cancer, and as of this year, cancer rehabilitation as well. I had McKinney send me this picture on the bottom left, and her in front of the big house. She told me, so it's called. Anyone from Michigan, rocket. But just as of recently, we've got five residents recently matched into pain medicine at Johns Hopkins, University of Utah, University of Minnesota, and then the two from this year, MD Anderson and Thomas Jefferson. We have someone match into who stays sticking around, Baylor, who will be here for peds, and Michelle next year. Two residents in brain injury at Harvard and one at Baylor. Two residents at in sports medicine, one at WashU in St. Louis and one at Cornell in New York. And then Maheen up there in Michigan in doing cancer rehab. There's a couple of sort of general things in case questions come up. We previously did some in-house call. We now do home call at all of our rotation sites. We have protected didactic time, 8 a.m. to noon every Thursday. It is truly protected and you are doing no additional clinical work during that time. We have specific curriculum dedicated to and presentations dedicated to the critical review of the literature during your residency and every year QI projects. We have a dedicated course in ultrasound, spasticity, and a board review and these are yearly courses. We have dedicated education funds for learning materials and conferences. And I can't remember what the last thing is, and it's covered up, and I can't control that. I'm not sure.
We got about 5 minutes left.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. As I now from here, I'm just showing adorable pictures of all of us doing fun things. We're out sidelines doing seeing marathons, advocating for human rights, and volunteering at the food bank. Hanging out doing the holiday parties, ugly sweater party in the top left with some fun ones. You can see my dog there too, and then some not so ugly sweaters bottom right doing the Crayola. That was for Halloween a couple of years ago. So yeah, we like to have a lot of fun, and it's a great establishment. It's a great place. This is us during one of our wellness retreats this year at a Topgolf, and so I don't want to make sure to include it. But if you guys have any questions, just let me know. It's a good question. What don't we offer? I'm not sure. Yeah. Which we want to offer. I don't know. That's hard. I mean, obviously, we are also. Is there anything I wish our program offered, or wish our program offered more of? Like I said, for me, I'm like mostly interested in pediatrics, and I have the world at my fingertips. But I'd say probably the thing that we want the most is more exposure to sports medicine. Like I said, we have a lot at both McNair and through Texas Children's. But I think that that's probably where we're trying to build the most and get more both attending coverage, but also just generally where I love that we have a after hours ultrasound interest group. I want to be doing more, dedicated time doing that kind of stuff as well.
Responding to Luis, who's from McGovern, right down the street. We do have
he was a lecture this morning. Thanks, Luis.
Yes, he was. We do have a formal mentorship program. Each PGY2 is assigned to a faculty member based on interests. And we do require meetings with your faculty member yearly, typically at least 2 times a year. And then for OV, each rotation is one month long, 4 to 5 weeks, depending on the month. And the home call schedule, you will do more call as a P2x2, and it lessens as you go on or as you progress throughout residency. Overall, as a PGY2, typically only on call about 1 weekend per month. Jennifer, for fellowships that are available on site, we have at TCH, we have a pediatric rehabilitation fellowship, which is what Aaron and I are both interested in. Then there is spinal cord, that is a combined through with UT McGovern as well, and same with brain injury as well. And I think those are the 3 that we have. In terms of research, so there is a ton of research available here. We are in the world's largest medical center, and you can collaborate with just about any institution here. in whatever you are interested in. So the research opportunities are abundant. For example, I'm working on standard operating procedures for pediatric disorders of consciousness patients right now with Texas Children's. And Aaron has done some spasticity research as well at Texas Children's.
And our goal is to get you lots of research experience, but it's also to make you better at evaluating research and doing your own research. And basically, and so that's what as a PGY3, when we do the critical review of the literature, that's the primary goal, is to make you better as a resident and as a physician, being able to recognize the quality of research. And that's one of the biggest goals that we have in terms of research, but also, like Laura said, there is a ton of opportunities to actually publish your own stuff.
So that brings us to the end. I think we hit the 9:25 mark. Thank you guys so much for presenting. If you don't mind dropping your contact information so you can share it with everyone else, I'm sure they'd be really appreciative of it. But thank you so much, Baylor, for an awesome presentation.